Excellent employers. Some of you might now think, well, there aren't many on the market. Well, it depends. I would agree there aren't many on the market. However, what recently happened was I posted about the Great Resignation. Some of you reacted to that. Thank you very much for doing so. But there was one comment which really got my attention, because one person commented and said, yeah, I heard of these issues, but I don't have any of these. My managers are just excellent. And of course, first I thought, is this advertising? Is this the manager by himself or herself posting? No. It was an employee for a company, and then we had a nice chat, and there was really someone who works in the insurance industry who is really happy where he's working and says, this is the perfect employer. And of course, I picked that up and I had to ask, what are they doing better than others? So I'm very happy that we have with us here today the inclusion partner at Beazley, Chelsey Sprong. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Niels. Thank you for inviting me. So hearing that story and hearing such positive feedback is so wonderful. I think we can be really critical on ourselves as employers, but it's great when that's really resonated with an employee.
Yeah, very well done indeed. And of course, I'm getting straight into the topic here. What is it? Because let's face it, many people who work in the insurance industry, when I ask them, how is work? They normally say, well, they pay well, there's a good benefits package. And, this makes everything else sort of bearable-ish. So what do you do differently at Beazley that people in the same industry are fascinated working for your organization? What is it? What is the secret sauce that Beazley has that other people do not have?
Well, I'll try and describe it from my experience. Certainly, I think the culture, often people who work at Beazley will tell you that the best things about Beazley are the culture and the people. And those two things are really closely interlinked. The culture of a company is always evolving. And I think the people are a really big part of that. But I think there's some of the things that the company has evolved or really the company is very interested in listening to the voice of the employees. We know that an insurance company or any professional financial services, you're only as good as the people that you employ. You're in a people service environment, and actually making sure that you've got fantastic talent that feels well supported and looked after is really important. So we do a lot of listening to our employees. There's employee surveys. There's a lot of interaction. And some of the things that have happened that we've rolled out, things like our flexible or hybrid working model. This was something that we were launching long before the pandemic started. So that, well, actually when the pandemic started and people were told to work from home, it ended up being an easier transition for us. We were already moving to that flexible and hybrid model. There's been a benefits review at Beazley, really listening to what employees want more of. The world has changed. Families' needs have changed and evolved. And I think by listening and responding to what employees have really found is important to them, I think we're able to make sure we keep responding to their needs properly.
Very well said indeed. So let's make it specific. When I would ask, what's the package that Beazley offers? Is there anything you are allowed to share with us where you say that is something we offer which stands out?
Yeah, so we have salary, bonus, and benefits. The overwhelming thing I think we can offer and confirm to people is the continuation of flexible and hybrid working. We're not one of those organizations that are mandating number of days back in the office. We are really focused on the empowerment of the employee. The employee, we hire experts, and those experts earn a lot of money, and they know how best to complete the work that they need to do. And there'll be some roles are more client facing, or some involve different priorities, but people will know how much time is necessary to spend in the office or can work flexibly. So that I think is a real powerful selling point. We are seeing at the moment more people kind of putting in demands about returning back to the office when people have been working flexibly for so long. And I think that's something that does stand Beazley apart. When we look at so that flexible hybrid working model, the benefits that Beazley offer, we want to stay ahead of the curve, but also then be responding to that. So we're looking at equalising our parental leave and making sure that applies to same-sex couples, whether you're adopting, whether it's surrogacy, or the family unit is changing, and actually fathers want to be more involved in their children's life in maybe before they would have returned to work sooner. So we're wanting to offer people real flexibility when it comes to how that works. One of the things that Beazley offers, though, is reimbursed travel to the office, and we've been offering that for a long time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So actually to travel into the office doesn't set you back financially, and when you're in the office you get free lunch, so that's nice as well. We recognize the office is still a really important collaboration space, and especially for new joiners and helping them feel part of the company. But I think it's the trust and empowerment that employees have to decide all those things for themselves that is our sort of main selling point.
Excellent. So just to make that clear, you hire experts, and of course they know what they do. And we all know that in the insurance world, especially when they invest money with Beazley, they don't invest pennies. So sometimes meeting, of course, in person might be very important. But it is possible that some people say, I work from home 100% of the time when they do their job well.
Yeah, if that works for the job role and they're still able to perform to the absolute best, then that is possible. Yeah.
Excellent, because as you might know, there are other people in the exact same industry where even senior leaders say they demand people back in the office, setting a very clear quota of which days and how many days per week, per month, per quarter they have to be in the office. So you decided to do a very different approach here. How is it possible that in the same industry you trust people so much more, and other people say, no, you have to turn up and we want to see you in the office, suit and tie, sit in the office? What is the motivation behind that? Any idea why you do so much better?
I think we've been doing it for longer, and that's maybe been helpful. It was something we were already trying to do before the pandemic. We want to move to an output model. It's the quality of work that you're producing, not the time spent. It's, some people might be able to achieve something in 2 hours. It might take the same person 6 hours. If it takes somebody 2 hours, they can do more. Everyone is so different. And I think playing to people's strengths, understanding the individual becomes really important. And I think the more we have tried to focus on output and results and managing performance from that perspective, it's an insurance company. It's not a factory. We don't need to make sure we're watching people at their computers to make sure they're not, browsing the internet or on YouTube all day. If they were on YouTube all day, they wouldn't be producing the same results. Yeah. So trusting that your people and employees are doing what you pay them to do is I think is a step. It's difficult for some people to get there when you're used to doing face-to-face supervision for some managers. But the more we've become used to this throughout the pandemic, I think it'll be much more natural to move to that moving forward. As well, Beazley is international. We've always had teams split over, throughout Europe, a lot in the US. We've got teams in Singapore. We're already managing across time zones and different offices where you're not sat together. Working from home is just another dimension to that. And I think reimagining what the office space is for. It's for collaborating and for bringing together ideas in a way that you don't get from home. But is it the best place to sometimes do really dedicated, focused work? Not all the time. I think we need to be more progressive about what office space is for.
Excellent. That is an excellent take indeed. Talking about one thing which is increasingly important, of course, especially when you work longer hours. And we all know that in the insurance industry, as in any professional service, sometimes hours might be longer than the average working time of other people. Talking about well-being, is it something that Beazley has special measures for, special steps you take? How do you take care of your people's well-being? Because as we know, often the problem comes to surface when it's too late. And of course, we should do something before. What's the take of Beazley on that?
Well-being, something I'm really passionate about, and was one of the initial founding members of we've got a well-being network. And so we've done a number of things. The network ultimately focuses on reducing the stigma that comes around talking about your mental health, making sure people feel that they are safe and supported if they explain that actually their well-being is suffering. And it started off before the pandemic, trying to get people comfortable with talking about stress or anxiety or feeling more depressed. And then with the pandemic, it became a very, very important topic. When you can't see people as much, you can't judge maybe as how they're doing. So we focused a lot on communication. But the things that we've done in terms of well-being, Beazley put out well-being days throughout the pandemic. So days in addition to normal annual leave or holiday that people could take if they just needed a break. That was something that was really well received. We've rolled out training for managers on how to help spot signs that their employees' well-being might be suffering. We've done sessions for employees to understand all of the different benefits that we offer and how they can use those benefits. There's therapy, there's counselling. We work with a company called Thrive, who've got an app that connects you to a counsellor. It's available both in English and in German for our German employees. And that helps. You can do cognitive behavioral therapy with that, or you can do calm breathing or meditation. It's everyone's well-being is different, and you need different things. I think we focus a lot on sharing employee stories, sharing hints and tips. I agree. I think this has been a really big focus. The fact that we're trying to normalize the conversation and getting senior leaders to talk about the importance of taking your breaks, taking your holiday to rest, I think that's working really well.
Excellent. I think we saw brilliant takes here. Many people, when they hear the insurance industry, they think, oh, long hours, great payment, but anything else might not be that great. And we see there's a different take. There's always another option, and there's always a way how to make things better, no matter in which industry you work. And I can tell you, I'm now self-employed for more than 20 years. It hasn't happened so far in these 20 plus years that someone publicly comments, my employer in the insurance industry does everything right. So congratulations for that. Very well done indeed. And at the end of this podcast, there's only one thing for me left to say. Chelsey, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.